Ready. Hello, my name is Lourvey Bourdan. I am an actress and a screenwriter, and I have just been interviewed by Mr. Keith Andrews of the Keith Andrew Network. I highly recommend that you do subscribe, like, and subscribe to his channel. Please watch his podcast. He is doing a lot of great things. He has a lot of interesting professional individuals on his show. Once again, my name is Lourvey Bourdan, and I definitely recommend Keith Andrew Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host Keith Andrew, along here with Lourvey Bourdan, and I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
No, the honor's all mine. For people who want to know what my talk show is about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. It's to prove to them you can step out to something. So hashtag break the labels. So that being said, 20 minutes every or 27 minutes every time. You can say anything you want. Freedom of speech, self-expression, it is uncensored. But remember, it's PG-13. And
Okay.
starting off, last time you were actually a guest on my show, for people who want to know, they can actually go to the Keith Andrew Network YouTube channel. Subscribe to this channel and look up Season 2, Episode 120. So it's actually been a long time since you've been a guest on my show.
Yes. How many seasons are you in now?
Well, right now I'm up to Season 8.
Wow. That's great.
No, absolutely.
That's really great.
And I know I was just watching the episode before I got started. The video quality got so much better, because I was on Skype. And now I actually have a background behind me. So you see the process for 7.5 years. This is what I started, and look at it now. So it's a big process to see, okay, first time, and then you look at it like, wow, it really got better.
Right. Yeah, it's only going to get better. I like Zoom a lot, because I had just heard of Zoom a couple of months ago, and I didn't know what it was. And everyone was like, oh, yeah, go on Zoom, do all the meetings on Zoom. And I was like, what in the world is that? But it's much, much better. It's much more efficient, I think, than Skype. I don't know. I think the picture quality is a little bit better. That's just me personally, I think so. So I don't know. But you have come a long way, because I remember how it was before and now how it is now with, everything that you've done. And 8 seasons is a lot to be proud of. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really great.
No, absolutely. And I don't know if you remember the whole story. When I first started, I did 72 phone interviews. And then I was Season 1, Season 2, what you saw on the camera was what the camera picked up. And then
Right.
Season about 2004, 14 or 15, I came across Skype recorder. And hey, at least I don't have to decorate the background anymore. But that's taken care of. So you see the process from the very beginning all the way now. I guess I could have done this from the very start, but then you really, really wouldn't see the process that much. But, I did it ass backwards because I wanted to show you, step 1, step 2, step 3, instead of just jumping right into it. So, if I did it like this from the beginning, who knows where I would have gone. But, it's a learning experience.
Yeah, and another 2-3 years, it'll get only better and better and then you can look back on this and be like, remember where I was 2 years ago? And it'll be even better. So no worries.
No, absolutely. Now, the other question I want to ask you is, you mentioned you were a screenwriter. So
Yes.
have you wrote in any great, well, obviously, let me rephrase it. Obviously, you do write great screenplays. Have you wrote in anything during, say, I don't know, let's see, 6 years? Like, say, you know what? Maybe I should have changed it up. You know, what have you been doing for 6 years as far as your writing is concerned?
Well, for a good 3 of those years, I was actually in and out of hospitals. I was very ill. I actually suffer from schizophrenia. So I had to do a lot of therapy and a lot of self healing. I had to just heal basically because I wasn't on medication. You know, I wasn't getting the professional help that I needed. And so the illness kind of overtook me and it really put me in a horrible situation. You know, I had lost my home, I had lost my job, I didn't have any money, I was living on, you know, it was just like one thing after the other. So once I decided to get some help and, you know, through the encouragement of friends and family, I was able to get the help that I needed. And, you know, now I'm much better, I'm a lot healthier, you know, I'm a lot happier, of course. And then for those 3 years after that, I've just been mostly just trying to maintain and just get back on my feet. But I have written 2 more full-length screenplays, 3 short films, and I'm actually helping a friend of mine with their book, and I'm helping 2 other individuals with their web series. So I am right now very busy during this time that we've all got this downtime, you know, to really create and make things happen. So for the first 3 years, it was more of a healing process, getting myself back together. And then the next 3 years, it was more like just kind of slowly getting back on my feet, writing a little bit here and there. But the last year, I would say the last year and a half has just been like boom, 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 boom with the writing. And it's just like a lot of ideas have been just flowing out. So we'll see what happens. I actually have a couple of companies, like production companies, who are very interested. Excuse me, I just got a puppy. So you might hear him in the background. But we actually got a little bit of interest from several production companies who are very interested in funding some of our projects. So that's where we are now. And I actually have a conference call tomorrow with 2 of these producers. So we'll see what happens with that.
No, absolutely. And as I'm very interested, and our viewers are probably very interested, what type of dog did you get?
I have what we call a toy Yorkie. He's only 3 months old, and yeah, he loves attention. His name is Tink, Tink, and he's a 3-month-old, what they call toy Yorkie. So he's not going to get much bigger than that, even as a full-grown dog. So that's pretty good for me.
No, it's a beautiful dog.
Thank you.
Now, the other question I want to ask you is, during the whole quarantine, you know, how have you been keeping your insanity?
Just mostly writing. I threw myself into my work, which really helps a lot to take your mind off of it because I'm able to do it from home. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. You know how so many people, oh, I want to go to the mall, I want to go here, I want to go there. I don't feel like I'm missing too much because I'm working, I'm still making money, you know, because people pay me to write for them. And it's been really helping me with keeping, you know, my mental health in check, because that way I don't feel like, oh, you know, I don't have to focus so much on all of the things that are happening with people, you know, unfortunately getting sick and passing away, and, you know, people losing their jobs and potentially their homes. And so I don't have to focus on all of that if I can just keep grounded in what I'm doing, you know?
No, absolutely. Now, the first question I want to ask you is, what can you tell us about your acting career? You know, like who inspired you to become a professional actor?
Oh, that would have to be two people actually. One being Cicely Tyson, who actually been in the business a very long time, since she's about, I want to say 20 something, and she is now in her 90s. And then there is Angela Bassett, who is just, in my mind, a very, very phenomenal individual. Like I feel like she can just play anything. She's a good person, the good, bad, and ugly. She can play anything in my mind. Both females are what I call class act. Like they're able to just do things. They're so classy. They carry themselves with dignity and respect, and they're well known and they're well celebrated in this industry. Their work history speaks for itself, and that's where I would like to be. I want to be considered the same way that they are. Put on, I don't want to say a pedestal, but put on a certain caliber of quality with my performances.
No, absolutely. And the next one is who inspired you to become a screenwriter?
Well, I would have to say Spike Lee. And one of the reasons being him and actually Keenan Ivory Wayans from the Wayans brothers. Both of them are very, very good performers. They're very good actors, but they're also very good writers. Where Spike Lee is more of I want to say a cultural conscious person who like kind of speaks on, things that are happening culturally in our environment, and where Keenan and his family do more comedy. But both of them are so very creative, and the fact that they write, they produce, and they direct and star in all of their productions, it's kind of like, how did they do that? So that kind of inspired me to want to say, okay, let me see if I can write. I remember being in college and trying to write short stories and things like that, and the teacher used to always click his little red pen and mark up everything. And at first I used to be so angry and so frustrated because I'm like, oh, I'm never going to get this right. But I realized that his constructive criticism really helped improve my work. So, and I look to these two people who, Keenan and Spike Lee, who they may not have like this big, huge Ivy League college education in the arts or whatever, but they learned from hard work and perseverance, and they were able to do it. And they had to do it the hard way, going out physically asking people for money to fund their projects, funding it themselves, and then later on, of course, getting the help from other people. So they were my inspirations for wanting to become a screenwriter.
No, absolutely. It's funny you're wearing those the earphones. How do you feel about wearing headphones during the interview versus compared to not wearing headphones?
Well, the reason I wear them is because sometimes there's a lot of things happening in the space around me, and I feel like I have to shout so much, just shout for people to hear me, and then they're like, wait, you're yelling into the mic, calm down. So then I use the earphones, that way I'm able to hear you clearly, and hopefully you and your viewers are able to hear me clearly. So I know it looks kind of funny, it looks kind of weird a lot of the times. People are like, what is she wearing? Why is she that? But I just do it mostly because I want to make sure that the conversation, the dialogue can be heard, as clear as possible.
No, I agree. My brother actually wears headphones, and I tried, when I listen to like my CD player, who even has CD player anymore, but when I had a CD player or I listened to my iPhone, and people tried to talk to me, and I just don't like the feeling of being muffled. So like I'm not saying I like the sound of my own voice or anything, because I try not to listen to myself. But it's just something about wearing headsets and talking. It doesn't feel right for me, if that makes any sense.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people like that. I know a couple of people actually who they don't like the way it feels in their ears. They feel like the other person, can't hear them properly. They just feel like it looks unprofessional, it looks weird, or, but I do listen to my headphones, of course, and when I'm listening to music and things like that. But but yeah, but in like if I just have like a phone conference where I don't need to really I guess when I'm on the line with other people, sometimes I'm able to do it without the headphones, but then again, I have to kind of like really shout because it's usually like a lot of people, a lot of things going on here, a lot of things. So it's just like I just want my conversation to be private. I don't want a whole bunch of people in my business, and I don't know. It just seems better for me.
No, absolutely. Now, the other question I want to ask you, I'm going to ask you two hard ones, and then you can throw it back
Okay.
at me. Now, when you first started your acting career, have you ever dealt with stereotyping, and how did you overcome it?
Yes.
I'll give you an example of what I mean by that.
So if I ever dealt with stereotypes and how did I overcome that?
Yes. Like for me, people would say, oh, you know, you're the kid with the disability, you know, or on the spectrum for being retarded, and, you know, that may be true. But I don't consider myself like that's my badge of honor. I
Mm-hmm.
don't consider myself, yes, I'm the guy with the disability who happens to have a talk show. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, if I was any other person, it wouldn't really make a difference. I think it's about whoever puts a label on you or likes to wink, wink, stereotype. That's our obligation to show you. I'm going to show you, look at what I can amount to, and I will overcome that. So when you were going for any acting roles and people are like, well, you know, this role should be good for you, when maybe you should go for that role, have you ever said, you know what, give me the supporting role, give me like the best friend role, and I will show you that I can do that role better than the one you want me to do.
Yeah, in fact, I've unfortunately lost a lot of opportunities because of stereotyping. Um, at first, I was willing to take, anything because when you're first starting out, it's like, okay, just give me anything. I just want to work. But then it's like people start to close you in this little box. And it was always, okay, can you be more black? Can you be more ghetto? Can you be more loud and just like ethnic they would call it. They say you have to be more ethnic, and I would be like, what does that mean? Like I don't know what I'm already ethnic. How can I be more ethnic? And they would say, oh well, can you talk ghetto? Can you talk slang? And I'm like, how? Like well, how am I supposed to do that? So and I lost a lot of roles because they didn't like that I was very articulate. And that I have an education and I want to showcase that. I want people to understand that, you know. So it was something that I had to get over, and I still get it a lot. I still get people saying to me, "Oh, they would tell my manager, oh, can she be more black? Does she wear weaves? Does she, can she dress this way?" And it's frustrating because being a female and being a black female, it's like you get both. They want you to play the slut, or they want you to play the girlfriend, or the sex symbol, or they want you to play the single mother, the drug addicted person. It's like, that's not what I am. I can't relate to that. I've never experienced that. I don't. Now, granted, some people say, oh, well, you're an actress. You should be able to play anything. That's great. Playing it once in a while is one thing, but to be typecast into that every single time, I can't do that. And I wouldn't want anyone else to do it either.
Oh, I agree with you. It's like saying if I went for an acting role, they said to me, oh no, could he be more white? And I'd be like, you mean like a Republican? And that doesn't.
like, okay, where's the tie? I thought it was funny.
Okay, or you want me to walk around with a big thing of money in my hands? I mean, people are just, the whole stereotyping thing needs to go away. Even though it is funny because, and this is why I say it's funny. It's funny because if you want to play a character and only a character, that you say, for this movie, I need you to play this person. Or in professional wrestling, you're going to play this person. And okay, and then you can make jokes
Mhm.
about it. You can laugh about it. You can say, you know, that skit was really stupid, but did you see the look on my face? That was really funny. You know, you have to enjoy yourself, make jokes, have fun. But having someone stereotype every little thing that, you know, if you can, I give you an example. It's not really stereotyping, but it's more of a qualification. I wanted to reach out to a couple radio stations a couple years ago, and I told them about my talk show. You know, and they're like, "Oh, what college did you go to? Do you have a BA? Do you have a bachelor's? Do you have this?" I said, "No, I don't have any of that because I'm not capable of going to college and getting any of that." I said, "This is my story. I'm on the spectrum of being retarded. I read and learn at a fifth grade level. I'm going to show you, look at what I'm able to accomplish." And you should know, you know, I've been doing this for 7.5 years. Thanks to you, we're up to 723 episodes. No one has helped me with this. I have done it myself. And I think it should be on mainstream. I should be getting more opportunities. But the problem is they kind of not and that kind of goes back to stereotyping, but it's more in my case, not stereotyping, more as is he really qualified? I mean, I'll give you an example. I kind of butchered your name when I was introducing you, and I do apologize for that because for me, I have to have it on my phone, you know, text to speech, and then it pronounces it for me. And they're like, well, if you can't really pronounce people's names, then how the hell are you supposed to be a broadcast announcer? How are you supposed to do this and do that? So it's kind of like, you know, I feel the same way you do that they label you as in, okay, you may have a podcast. That's great, wonderful. You can edit it. You can always do wonderful things. But there's tons of people that edit things. Look, Bill Raleigh, when he did his show, his show was pre-recorded. Bill Maher tapes on Thursday and then it airs on Friday. So there's WWF or WWE back in the day used to do pre-recorded taping. So there's hundreds and thousands of people that may, you know, edit their stuff and then produce it and say they're live when they're not actually live. So yes, I have a hard time pronouncing people's names, but we can actually work around that. So unfortunately, yes, I have been stereotyped as in when I approach somebody to have them on a show, they automatically assume it's, oh, I know who you are. You're the kid with a disability. Don't you just interview people with disabilities? No, that's not really the point. I'm showing you with a disability, look at what I can accomplish by having every single person on the show, you know, whites, blacks, Spanish, Asians, professional actors, CEOs, wrestlers, every single person with a disability and without a disability. I like giving people opportunities. Like I did for you. I came across your work. I liked you. I interviewed you. We had fun the first time. I invited you back the second time. So it isn't the stereotypical of, you know, he's brown nose and he's trying to get his numbers up. I like building connections with people. And the next question I want to ask you is funny enough about building connections. With social media, with everything that you accomplish in your life, do you consider Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, do you consider these golden opportunities saying, you know what, if it wasn't for social media, I really wouldn't get myself out there? Or do you think at the same time that you're not getting certain roles because of social media? Passing the show over to you.
Well, as much as I do love social media to connect with family and friends and making new friends and things like that, it is a little bit of an annoyance, only because it's like you said, where you could potentially lose out on roles. I've actually experienced that where, the casting director was telling, they were having a conversation with me. They were saying, Lourvey, I really like you for this part. I had auditioned for this particular TV show 5 times. 5 times I auditioned for this particular TV show. It was about a year or so ago. And she said, I'm fighting for you. I really want you to get this role. But she was like, I got to be honest, you probably won't get it. And I was like, well, why? What's going on? What can I do? Whatever. She's like, it's your social media. And I was like, well, why? What's wrong? She goes, you don't have enough followers. She's like, you only got a couple of hundred people. Whereas this other person who's being considered has 200,000 people. 200,000 people following them. And I said, well, that's great, but how is their performance? Do they have the experience? Do they have the know-how? And she goes, no. She's like, they've never acted a day in their life. They've never taken any acting classes. They just a pretty person, and they take pretty pictures, and then they get all these followers and things like that. But that's free money. That's like, if she gets this part, then 200,000 people are going to want to see it. 200,000 people are potentially paid to see it. That's free publicity, free money. And I was like, well, that really sucks for the people who have gone to college, gotten degrees, have the experience, have the know-how, been working at this for a long time. And then we try to promote what we're doing on social media. And because we don't have, X amount of followers, this person over here who has no experience, no know-how, doesn't even really want to be in the business. They just want money and fame and fortune. They don't really know anything else about the business. And it's like, I feel like it's a big slap in the face. And I feel like, nobody takes that into consideration for whether you're a musician or, an artist or a performer. It doesn't matter. I feel like nobody takes it in consideration how offensive that is. Because to sit there and and then people do this thing where, oh, Keith, I'll follow you if you follow me back. Okay, and then you follow me and I unfollow you just to get my numbers up. That's so rude. And it's so disrespectful, and it's so annoying, because it's like, when people sometimes do that to me, I'm just like, I'll immediately unfollow them, for one. And for two, it's like, why? If I follow you initially, it's because I'm genuinely interested in what you have to say, what you're doing, what you bring to the table. I'm genuinely interested. And, and then if you follow me first and say, can you please follow me back? Sometimes I might look through the profile and I'm like, I don't know if I like that content. I don't know if I like what they're putting out. I may not. And other times, if I, some people put out some things that you're just like, that's offensive, that's weird, okay, that's too much. And sometimes I'm like, oh, this is something I'm interested in. This is something that I think I would like to know more about, and I'll go and follow that person. But I'm not here to say, oh, let me follow you and then unfollow you. You follow me, I follow you, and then I unfollow. And it's so frustrating, because I wish they would just go back to the old way of recognizing people for their actual talent, their actual effort, their actual experience. And I'm not saying social media doesn't help. It helps. It gets your project out there. I mean, you advertise your talk show on social media. People are like, oh, the Keith Andrew Network, what is that? And then they want to click on it. They want to know more about it. And you're bringing people like me, who somebody may not even have heard of. And they're like, oh, let me go check her out. Let me see what she's doing, or let me see what he's doing. So I feel like your show brings a lot of so-called quote unquote unknown people into the light. And for people who are well known, it kind of reminds people that, hey, we're here too. We're here, we're working, we're doing our thing, whatever that happens to be. And it lets people know that you are also doing your thing too. But to sit there and take the social media and be like, well, she has 800,000 followers. She has only 600,000 followers. She's a much better performer, but she has more followers. We're going to go with her. And it just makes the work sloppy, in my opinion. It makes the work like, I feel like I don't even watch the project anymore, because I know it's going to be like, okay, you hired this person and they can't act their way out of a paper bag, or they can't sing, they can't do what you hired them to do. And it's like, and then now your whole production is messed up because you relied on this person. So now 200,000 people who you were depending on to watch this thing. That's 200,000 people who are talking negatively about your project because you hire somebody who can't do the job.
I agree.
That's just me, in my opinion, on social media.
Honestly, while we're on the subject and wrapping up, I only follow people who I really like, number one. And the new thing I'm doing is I only follow people who I work with. I used to follow people left and right. And when I worked in retail, I used to introduce myself to people. And there used to be like, oh, yeah, you follow me and I follow you back. And like I said, then, like you said, then they unfollow you. So I only follow people who I respect, who I like. Sorry, that's why I catch my breath. I only follow people who I like and respect and who I have worked with. So I'm trying to keep it down to that. If people want to follow me, that's fine. You're more than welcome to. And you're asking me, keep follow me back. And it's not anything personal. It's just how I worked with you. It's you. Anyone can buy followers. And I'm guilty of that. There was something like, I don't know, give me $10 a month and you get 10 free followers. And, what happens is if you don't pay them, they freeze your account. So all the numbers you see, the 1,000, I earned that. I contacted every single person. Hey, I'm doing this. Would you like to become a fan of mine? I really appreciate it. I didn't buy anything. I don't sell people. And I sure as hell don't pay people to be a guest on my show. And, it's really hard to find real legit people because people look for shortcuts on every real thing. I don't do that. This is what I want to do to the day I die. I'm going to put my heart and soul into it. If it connects with you, you support that person, great, wonderful. If you don't want to support a person, there's the door. Go make friends with it. So with that being said, you got to find fake people. There was this person who said to me, and in a video, being online, you see an avatar, right? Being online is like having an avatar. That's who you want people to see you as, but are you really that person? For me, what you see is what you get. This is not a mask. This is not a face. I am 100% real. I know there's other people who like to put a mask on and like, oh, hey, I'm doing this and that. But when they're behind closed doors, they're doing whatever. But the point is, it's really hard to find people who are legit. But wrapping up our talk show, I do have 2 questions for you off the air. But wrapping up, how can people follow you on social media? Are you on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn?
Yes, I am on Instagram. It's my first name, Lourvey, which is LOURV like Victor, EY _Bourdan, and that's BOUR, D as in Daniel, AN. So that's Lourvey _Bourdan on Instagram. And then on Facebook and LinkedIn, it's just my first and last name, Lourvey Bourdan.
No, absolutely. And wrapping up, when I first approached you to be a guest on my show the second time, I want you to be completely brutally honest. When I approached you to be a guest on the show the second time, what was your first reaction and what made you say yes, and how do you feel now?
Well, when you came up to me the second time and asked me, I thought, really? You're still interested in what I'm doing? That was my first reaction. I was like, okay. And then after that, I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I enjoyed our interview the first time. I enjoy your company. I think you're very kind and very professional individual. And I really do think that you need more exposure to, just to let people know, like you said, let's break the label, man. Like, let's tell people that, hey, people are out here doing things every single day. I'm just like you. I work hard, I try hard, and I succeed if I do these things. And that's basically the message I get from you. And I see that it seems like you're always doing interviews, like boom, boom, boom. I'm like, geez, he works a lot. So it's like I wanted to make sure that if people are interested, I'm interested in telling my story. If they want to know, I'm interested in telling about it. I have no secrets, no skeletons in my closet that, can't be told. And, so yeah, I was very interested in updating and information and seeing how you were doing and seeing how the show is going and things like that. So no problem.
Absolutely. Now, I do have a couple questions for you off the air. For wrapping up our interview segment, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest. And all I ask is you keep in touch.
Thank you.
Hi, guys. My name is Kat Johnston.
This is Donna Drake.
This is Kayleen.
Hi, my name is Kara Svucek.
I'm Julia Brothers.
Jenna Curtis.
Hey, I'm Jenny Fahn.
Hi, it's Mimi Chin.
Hi, my name is Ella Dorsch.
My name is Shauna Toft.
Hey guys, I'm Anastasia Edwards.
Hi, this is Jackie Nunez.
Actress Becky Hayes.
Hi, I'm Amelia Rose.
Hey there, I'm Saki Mieta.
Hey guys, I'm Alexandria Denise, and you're watching Keith Andrews' show.